thanks for coming on board today, Washington. Today we're going to be talking about fluoride on this episode of Unfiltered.
My pleasure being here. It's been a while since I've been to Toowoomba, and I have forgotten about the weather and how cold it gets here. A rude awakening.
It's not so bad today, is it?
No, it's not too bad. No, it's not too bad. But it's a pleasure being here in Toowoomba, one of my favorite cities.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So could you tell us a bit about yourself, your background and
my background, qualifications. All right, background is my early formative years started in engineering, pressure pipe welding, boilermaker, all that sort of things, and structural welding. I worked in various projects, Royal Melbourne Zoo, etc. Privileged to work in the gorilla cages, Rigo the gorilla in Victoria. It was one of my highlights. I'll never forget that.
Nice.
From then, I decided that it was time for me to get, I had learned sufficient English. I was born overseas, you can tell from my accent, and so I needed to learn English. I went back to high school. I did my high school certificate in Victoria, and then I met my wife, and I put my studies on hold for a little while. At 32, I went back to university. I got my first degree in chemistry, analytical chemistry. Then I did a master's degree in analytical chemistry, and I was enjoying the research so much that I ended up doing a PhD as well in medical chemistry, polymer chemistry, and analytical chemistry. So I was using all the top of the range instrumentation, electron microscopes, etc. All the good tools. I just spent hours and hours training for, and I really enjoy that sort of work. All the time, when I finished high school, I went into water treatment until I went back to university. I spent all that time either doing water treatment or cooling tower management, Legionnaires control, corrosion control. So it's always been centered around water. The only diversion was when I went to university and I did the research, which was more medical training gear because of, I like to contribute something to society. That's always been my motto. Get a degree, contribute back to society. And as a result, I continue doing consultancy work on water analysis, water treatment, corrosion control, whilst doing the medical part of it. So I had my brain in two camps. I had medical and I had industrial on one side, or engineering on one side of my brain. Yeah, so I was using both. So that's the gist of my background. And 3 years ago, I decided to start my own business, doing water analysis. And mainly it's for drinking water, potable water, boil water system, rainwater, etc. So remediating the shortage of, how should I say, the shortage of knowledge in people that are self-sufficient, that depend on rainwater or depend on boil water systems. There is a support mechanism from councils or from government to say, you need to do this, that, and the other to make your water good and healthy for you to use and to drink. So
that's good.
Those are the sort of issues that I look at, very acidic water or very hard water. And so you need to remediate those with equipment or filtration or, remineralization, etc. There are a myriad of things that you need to do in order to bring the water up to a level of standard that you will consider healthy to drink and beneficial for your body. So
good.
That's my background.
Awesome. Yeah, what we wanted to ask you about today is fluoride, which I guess is mainly in mains water.
Yeah.
There seems to be so much controversy online about whether it's good for you or bad for you, and even us, we find it hard to know what to trust.
There is a lot of, they call it misinformation and disinformation. There is a myriad of topics out there in in the airwaves, right? As I call it, the inter-Google.
Yeah, even from like established like governments and universities.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of governments will push it, and sometimes you need to wonder, why we get pushed to take certain things, even though you don't want to, you are forced to take it in, right?
Mm.
It's almost like you have to ingest it without consent, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else. That's it. You open up any tab in most capital cities, and they already have chlorine and fluoride in them, and there's nothing you can do about it. You drink it, and you're basically forced to drink it. Otherwise, you have to buy bottled water.
Mm. So what actually is fluoride?
Fluoride. Okay, so I'm gonna use my iPad here, so to give you a little bit of information about the what fluoride is. The distinction between fluoride and fluorine is fluoride is an ionic compound. Fluorine is the atomic element. Its atomic number is 9. It's on group 17, but I'm old school. I always remember it as group 7b, right? That's how I remember it. It's from period 2. It's the most electronegative of the elements, and you're probably thinking, what the heck is he talking about? Okay, so atoms interact with each other according to the ability to either withdraw an electron or share an electron, give up an electron. Okay. And so that's called electronegativity. How much do I want to take an electron from my neighbor? So let's say you're a hydrogen and I'm a fluorine. I'm going to pinch your electron from you. I'm going to take it from you. And so, I am stable now, and you are positive, and then I become negative. So that's electronegativity. I withdraw it from you, right? But then you are attracted to me because I got an extra electron. So that's sort of an analogy, right? So that electronegativity plays a very important part in how everything interacts with us, how a body interacts at a molecular level or an atomic level.
That's interesting, yeah.
Right, so sodium fluoride, which is, that's what they put in water, that is the form. It's a sodium plus, and a fluoride minus, 1 minus. So the electronegative compatible, one attracts the other, but in water they dissociate, they separate out. Water has that tendency to trap the sodium on one side and the fluoride negative ion. It's free floating around it. Okay, so the main uses of fluoride in water treatment are dental health. It reduces tooth decay. It's beneficial for children during their formation when their permanent teeth are coming out. It protects the enamel, and it also helps to increase the enamel on the teeth.
So what sort of age group?
We're talking about when they start dropping their the teeth, which is what, 5, 6, 7, around about that age. They start developing their permanent teeth.
Okay, so they actually like ingest that fluoride and then
and also it comes in contact with the enamel, and it binds to the enamel surface, the fluoride.
Interesting. So you mean like on the surface of the tooth?
On the surface of the tooth, yeah. So and you ingest it. Now we're going to talk about that. Now, is it endorsed by all health authorities, right? We're talking about WHO, ADA, CDC, TGA, NHMRC as well. Here in Australia, the Department of Health. All of those will endorse the use of fluoride because they do say, and you have to say, yes, it does protect the enamel on the tooth, but there are some cons to it as well. So there are benefits, but there are cons to fluoride. And that's what not many people talk about. And so I guess you probably want me to talk about those things.
Well, I also want to understand, if I Google, is fluoride dangerous? It'll say, yes, it'll kill you, but that seems a bit far-fetched to me, so I'd like your perspective on that.
All right, so sodium fluoride in its raw form, that can be on granules or it can be in liquid form. In concentrated form, yes, it will kill you. It's highly toxic. Highly toxic. And if you look at the packages, they say sodium fluoride, poisonous, wear protective. And when they say wear protective PPE, protective clothing, they mean wear protective PPE. Full body overalls, coveralls, with a hoodie and gas mask and glasses and gloves. Because a high dose of sodium fluoride will kill you. It will disrupt your neurological system and it will kill you, right? So it is highly poisonous.
So like surely a small amount wouldn't be that bad?
A small amount, as they recommend, sodium fluoride is less than 4 ppm. Now the recommended dose is from I think it's from 0.2 to 0.7 ppm.
Yep.
Right. For what they call health benefits.
Yes.
Now, any spikes can cause some problems, maybe long term. Now, the other thing that you need to realize that when you ingest the water that contains sodium fluoride, some of that fluoride remains in your body. It's bioaccumulative.
Yep.
Not all of it, but about 50% or so will remain in your body. It will go into the fatty tissues, into the bones, etc. Okay, so it binds to certain parts of the body and it will stay there. And if your biggest issue is dental protection cavities, then you need to look at diet and water and, pH of the water, the kind of drinks that they take, whether they're acidic or not, because they do have a bearing on damage to the enamel of infants and adults alike.
So there's a lot of people who ask us, can you remove fluoride from water?
Oh, absolutely, you can. So there are several ways of doing it. The cheapest and the easiest is by using cartridges.
Yep.
And there are some media that can actually remove it quite effectively.
What actually is that media?
The media is a form of aluminium oxides. So I always recommend that if you're going to use a media removal system, I go a 3-stage or a 4-stage filtration system.
Yep.
A 4-stage filtration system will probably be the best one, where you have sediment, you have your fluorine removal, then you have your carbon, activated carbon,
yep.
and which is a crash material, and then you have a carbon block. So the whole concept of using so many filters is that you are removing suspended solids, you're removing fluoride from the water, you're removing chlorine from the water, right? Because your water is already disinfected, you don't need to drink it. Mm. And then you remove any other organic byproducts from the process of disinfection or any other contaminants in the water that has escaped the water treatment plant.
Yeah, so, interesting. So one thing that kind of rang alarm bells in my mind, you mentioned aluminium.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard that causes dementia. Is that the same sort of aluminium? Or?
No. It's a different. It's a different material in the sense that the way that is that material is manufactured and interacts with the water, it does not releases any free aluminium.
So you mentioned carbon.
Yeah.
Does carbon remove fluoride?
No, carbon does not remove fluoride. It removes chlorine but not fluoride.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very important to know that the only way to do it is you need some sort of a media exchange. So there are a myriad of solutions. If you don't want to go the way of the cartridges, then reverse osmosis is the best one.
And so if I wanted to remove fluoride,
mm-hmm.
and I was choosing between whole house filtration and under sink, can it be absorbed through my skin in the shower? Or?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And that's the other thing that a lot of people don't think through. When you're having a shower, you're not only absorbing it through your skin, whatever contaminants are in the water, but you're also inhaling it because you're creating water droplets. And you're breathing while you're having a shower, and you're not even thinking about it. And then You see a little bit of sting, but there's also very fine droplets. When your water hits your skin, creates very fine droplets, and you inhale it, and that goes in. One of the things that we tend to ignore a lot is the quality of our water. But if you're worried about your water, then you need to find out, well, what's the quality of my water? What's it doing to me?
That's good.
Should I analyze it?
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
This is going back a bit. Say, for example, I'm concerned that there might be neurological effects of fluoride, and I don't want any bone fluoride build up. But I don't want to do away with the good effects of fluoride for teeth. What would you say about something like that?
Well, most toothpaste will have some fluoride in it, provided you don't swallow it. And you're basically brushing twice a day, 3 times a day, after every meal, right? Some people only do it once a day, right? Okay, so that's plenty of protection. Again, as I mentioned earlier on, neutralizing the acidity in your mouth is probably the best self-treatment that you could do. If you want to avoid the neurological aspects of damage, especially in infants, or bone deposition or other aspects that can cause ill health effects by sodium fluoride in your system. So your best treatment will be either minimize the amount of ingestion and maximize the cleanliness and oral hygiene. And that's probably the best self-defense mechanism that you could use.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're worried about those things, if you want to continue using the fluoridated toothpaste, do so. But make sure you don't ingest it. Minimal contact. When you're doing your brush, wash your mouth and your oral cavity thoroughly and make sure there's nothing left over. And so you just protected your teeth. You added a small layer of fluoride onto the enamel because it absorbs to it.
Yep.
And then that's it. You're good to go.
That's brilliant.
Right. So that will be one process of doing it. Right. One way of protecting yourself against that possible neurological damage or influence on developmental children, and also on people that may be susceptible to neurological effects from the fluorine. I mean, that's very important. Whatever filtration system that you put, it gotta be done according to the water test results that you're receiving. Very important, because if you do a blanket, I put this filter here, you may not be addressing everything that's going on with your water.
So they think they've got a good 3-stage filter system.
But it's useless. It only removes the suspended solids.
Yeah.
That's it. Bacteria still gets through.
Onto fluoride again.
Yeah.
Say someone has a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old, and they're thinking about filtering the fluoride out of their water. What would you say to them if they are worried about losing the good effects of fluoride during that developmental stage?
That's a good proposition. Again, it goes back to the same thing. On a child, on an infant, as soon as they start developing the little, chompers, it's very hard to teach them to brush their teeth and not swallow whatever they put in their mouth.
Yep.
Extremely hard. And it always boils down to, like I said before, what do they eat? One stage you're going to have to think about what is most important.
Yeah.
Right? In the early stages of a child, the baby teeth are going to be shed. And the new permanent teeth are going to start growing at the age of 6.
So with those permanent teeth,
yeah.
If they don't have the fluoride during that stage where they're growing, does that mean the permanent teeth won't be as strong down the track?
Not necessarily. I mean, you look at our society before fluoride. A lot of people had very good teeth it's not necessarily essential. I mean, what year was fluoride introduced here in Queensland? Not long ago. So the greatest oral hygiene that you have, the better chances that you have good dentures. Even to old age, this is not an issue. That for me is important. Yes, there is protection from fluoridated water, but there's also some hidden dangers in it.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we need to worry about. Now, I compile a document which I believe will be available for download from somewhere. So I'll leave it up to you guys to do it.
100%.
Yeah. So you'll have the link somewhere, and my biggest recommendation is if you're concerned about fluoride in your water system and you're drinking it or ingesting it by force, let's say, because you can turn it off at the street, at the tap. It comes and it gets delivered everywhere, right? So whether you want it or you don't want it, it's inconsequential. It's there.
Yep.
So if you don't want it, you can do something about it. Now, you mentioned earlier on, there are two types of way of removing it. One is whole house or under the sink for drinking and cooking.
Yep. Would I be protected mostly from just an under the sink one?
Look, you'll be a heck of a lot more protected with under the sink than not having anything, right?
Yep.
So first protection will be under the sink, will be a small RO system.
Would they get like 80% of it right?
Yeah, well, that gets rid of everything, right? And then you remineralize the water, and that you use that water for cooking and drinking, making tea. Makes the best coffee, by the way, and the best tea. So RO water with a remineralizer, perfect, right? It does the job. So you can even add cartridges that increases the magnesium and calcium, a couple of other minerals that it's good, right? So you have those. Then the next stage, which covers everything, is in-house, full house. Biggest recommendation will be, okay, if you're concerned about it, you can do something. An RO system under the sink is inexpensive compared to a whole house system. But a small unit under the sink, it covers all your cooking. You have a pressure tank. You got about 10 liters available quickly, and it's all under there, and it's remineralized, it's good, perfect. You've been drinking it all your life. You know what that's like, right? The water tastes perfect.
Yeah.
There's no aftertaste. It's how it should be. Perfect pH, perfect taste. And that covers everything. Now, if you were concerned then that some of the fluoride may go in through your skin and you're inhaling it, it's minimal, but it does happen.
Is that like probably 5% of the badness? Or?
Yeah, hard to say how much. It really depends on the skin of each individual. We all, I did a lot of research in transdermal drug delivery. So your skin, my skin is different to the cameraman behind me here. They're very different altogether, right? We tend to react differently according to the dryness, the how oily our skin is, etc. There's a myriad of combinations, and so some of us tend to absorb more than others. But it's a small percentage that you're going to be absorbing, but you still absorb it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to remove that, then you do the whole house, and then all your water in the house. But then you're also addressing another issue, not just fluoride, but you're also removing a few other things that come in the water that shouldn't be there, right? Like some of the ions, some of the suspended solids, some of the chlorine that gets taken care of on the way through at the same time that you are removing your fluoride from the water. So those are the two options that you have. If you're really concerned about your health, well then, those are the options you have. If you have no worries with fluoride and you find that this is just a lot of talk and you're not concerned with fluoride, well then, you don't do anything and you just continue living. And, there's room for everybody in this world. I'm worried about, it's not worried, I am passionate about water quality.
Yeah.
And because I'm passionate about water quality, this is what I do. Had I been passionate about, I don't know, hepatitis, then I would have been doing research on, how to prevent hepatitis. But I'm not. I'm, something that I kind of consider, all my life, where is this water coming from? I mean, I never understood when I was a kid. We lived in rural South America, and we had a well. And I never understood where the water came from underground.
Mm.
And it was a fascination because, there was always nice, clean water running through the well. And where does the water come from? Does it magically appear? No, it's it's groundwater that's seeping through. You have good source of mineral water, but where is that water coming from? You got to look a little bit further. Now I have a much greater understanding that even though I was taking groundwater, the neighbors were affecting my water quality according to the animals they had in the area and whether they were using pesticides and herbicides.
Really?
And they were, that is one of the things that you need to worry about as well. You look at one thing and you go, yeah, this is terrible. But you got to look at everything with a broader brush. Because what else is there? That
a lot of cities across Australia actually supplement their dam water supply, like might come from the mains.
Yeah.
And then here in Toowoomba we have bore pumps.
Yeah.
All around the town. And from what I understand, they pump that water into the mains lines. Would that be correct?
In some cases, well, they need to treat it. They can't just put it straight onto the pipelines.
Yep.
They need to send it somewhere and they do some pre-treatment, some filtration. And it's not just sodium fluoride that we need to be concerned. We need to be concerned a whole heap of other things. But we are talking about sodium fluoride today, and that's the thing that I want to emphasize. It has beneficial, it has a lot of pros, but it also has a lot of cons.
Yeah.
And the world is divided as to whether it's good or bad, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and hopefully I try to address some of the issues with it. I mean, it does have some negative effects, but it also has positive effects.
Yeah.
So it really, you need to weigh in how much you want to, worry or care about your health and the health of your family and your children, and whether you want to do something about it or not.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
well, thanks for joining this episode of Unfiltered. It's been awesome having you on board today, Washington.
Thank you.
And really appreciate your advice.
Thank you.